I think to allow us to progress, the only thing I will require of the governor is to go on record as to the reasons for his non-appearance in the last meeting. I think that's important for it to go on record. And then we can decide whether that is satisfactory and whether that will allow us to proceed. Governor.
Thank you very much, Chair. On the 2 dates mentioned, the last date, Chair, I had traveled and had indicated that I requested for a scheduling of the meeting. I was out of the country for that week, and then I saw the summons, Chair. But that notwithstanding, I'm happy to be here today. It was a prior scheduled visit that I couldn't move. That's why I appealed for the indulgence of the committee. On that date, I think it was the 8th of April. And I think the early one was the 14th of March, Chair.
So, Clerk, in the summons, I think we must add a third demand, because you've demanded appearance in person, you've demanded written responses. We must also demand a written explanation for the non-appearance, including evidence of travel or evidence of commitment, because sometimes governors might just choose not to appear before the committee. So going forward, whenever we issue summons for non-appearance, that evidence must be put before the committee in writing, including any travel documents or travel-related documentation. Honorable members, the Powers and Privileges Act says where a person summoned does not appear, or where a person summoned appears and does not satisfy the committee may impose upon the person such a fine, and it's prescribed in the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. Is there any member who is dissatisfied with the explanation by the governor? Should we consider the fines that are provided for in the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act? Senator Onyonka?
Chair, my opinion is that if the governor is able to present documents showing that he traveled and all that, I think then we can do a review.
Senator Mofaya?
Chair, I think His Excellency Governor Sakaja has been a member of Parliament for quite some time, and is very thorough on some issues. I don't know whether his absence of failure to appear before the committee was deliberate. So I think I agree with his presentation that he might have traveled, but of course I didn't go through your ruling that he has to prevent that's evidence that he was out of the country. So I think we should give him some benefit of doubt for that matter.
Senator Chirake?
I think, Chair, the essence on powers and privileges is, and even the principles of natural justice, is they should be compelling reasons. And I hope the governor will provide us with the traveling documents, which I think should not be a problem, as to why it did not appear. Of course, as a ranking member of Parliament who has been there for some time, I don't think he takes Parliament in vain. He must take Parliament seriously. And I want to believe, because he was my chair in Labour and Social Services, he used to teach me that Parliament must be respected. So I think, Chair, there should be compelling reasons, the provision of traveling documents, Chair, and any other documentation. And then from there, the ruling can be made. And like in the other county the other day, if there are no compelling reasons, then we go for full force of the law. But if there are compelling reasons, then it can mitigate the consequence and applications of powers and privileges. I thank you, Chair.
Senator Methu?
Chair, I know we are really pressed of time.
And remember, I'd asked for comments on those who are not satisfied with the governor's explanation. Proceed, Senator Methu.
Not necessarily not being satisfied, but I wanted to mention that and Governor Sakaja has been a member of Parliament. He knows that Parliament operates on its procedures and precedents. And the governor has said that he traveled. Last week, Honorable Chair, we were seized with the matter of a governor who had traveled. And from what we gathered, his reasons of travel were actually very compelling because he had gone to pray. He had gone to Mecca to pray, if I actually remember very well. So I thought those reasons were compelling, but they didn't satisfy this committee that he should have left such an important legislative business of coming to appear before the Senate to go and pray. We actually fined that man. We told him that he should have prayed here, appeared before the Senate, and we move on. So Governor Sakaja has not even told us why he had traveled. At least that governor told us why he had traveled. He had traveled for prayers.
Is it your proposal that we impose the fine provided for in the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act?
Chair, it is a precedent that has been set already by this committee.
Okay. Maybe to avoid a debate on it, remember you must be referring to the Ciolo case. When the clerk read out the chronology of events, it turned out that there were 5 invitations that had not been honored in a span of 1 year. I think in the case of Governor Sakaja, it was 1 invitation. So that perhaps might make a distinction between the two.
So in that case, then I drop my proposal of finding him.
Okay.
The other one had even gone ahead and disparaged the committee, but Senator Sakaja has never.
Senator Mariam Omar?
Chair, me, I have a different opinion, because when you write, when we wrote someone, it means that we are not satisfied with his response, that he has not attended. And today, when he come, there is no evidence that there is not a travel to wherever he's traveled. So I have different opinion, and also to make Senate to be having at least a buy to buy with some, because when we write a summon letter, I don't think we have to debate on that. We totally go on summon issues. Sure.
Thank you, Senator Mariam Omar. Senator Sifuna?
Yeah, before Senator Sifuna,
Senator Dulo.
the statements made by Senator Methu should be expunged from this Hansard, because we didn't find, or rather we didn't even tell Governor for Isiolo he should not have traveled to Mecca, he should have prayed there. That statement never actually, we never presented that statement. So I think...
Chair, on point of order, Senator Dulo is out of order. You cannot gag. The freedom of opinion and expression is in the Constitution.
No, I'm on a point of order. How can you...
Okay. Fine, members, let's... I believe we are probably saying the same things, and I agree with Senator Dulo that those reasons alluded to by Senator Methu were not tabled.
No.
And that's why I have said that in our summons, we must demand.
But Mr. Chairman Garau said that it was not tabled. The letter that was written to this committee by the county secretary said that the governor had traveled to Mecca for pilgrimage. That is on record.
Unfortunately not. So, members, just to ensure that our proceedings are orderly, going forward, we have already directed the clerk that where a summon is issued to compel appearance, then the summoned officer or the summoned governor must in writing state the reasons for an appearance and provide evidence of other commitments for the consideration of the committee, so that it is not an oral presentation that then generates debate. Senator Sifuna.
Chair, for me, my concern is that we are running out of time. As we were briefed during the meeting with the Auditor General, we have 55 unresolved issues, Governor, in the financial year ending June 2022 alone. So we'll abide the decision of the committee and beg that we move to discuss the more substantive report in detail.
Honorable members, having listened to your submissions, I think there have been a mixed opinion, which is perfectly in order, because a committee that does not have differing opinions is like a committee of sheep, and we are not a committee of sheep. But having weighed the responses, under the circumstances, Governor Sakaja, within this committee, I'm not talking about the totality of the Senate, in this committee, in this case, he was a first offender. I'm not talking about the energy committee. I'm not talking about those other manenos. But within this committee, this summons the governor was first offender, and I will therefore direct that we proceed with the meeting.
Chair, if you allow me.
Governor?
If you allow me just
and
briefly.
Be careful not to reopen a Pandora's box.
No, I don't want to open any box. Chair, as Senator Cherargei alluded, I have been a ranking member of the Senate and the National Assembly. And I want to give assurance to the committee that I understand and respect the place of the Senate. As you've given a comparison, mine was a summon after 1 invite. Others are 5 missed invites. This is my 13th appearance before the Senate committees. On Friday, I was with Senator Onyonka in another committee. So let senators be assured that I do respect the place and the role of the Senate for oversight. I had no reason not to want to come, especially given the fact that the financial years we're looking at, years where I was here with you in the Senate, they're not my time in office. That notwithstanding, government continues in perpetuity, and Chair, I'll always be available for the Senate. I think there's a perception that was created that I have a problem coming to Senate. Chair, I love coming to Senate. In fact, over the past few days, I've been here a lot looking at the improvement works I've done around here. And I hope I'm the first one to use this committee room as in terms of governance. So please have that assurance that the reason why we've been able even to catch up to this financial year. I've come here on audit for 2017-18, 18-19, 19-20. We're now looking at 2021 and 21-22. Means I've come even more times than my predecessors combined, you know. And so I'm happy that even after today, we should be able now to be on time with us. Even at the assembly, I've made sure my officers have been there. They've discussed 18-19, 19-20, and 20-21. And so that is the disposition that we have in Nairobi County. So please have that assurance, Chair, from Nairobi County and from myself.
Okay, that's important for the record, and it's also important for the House to allay that impression of non-cooperation. Members, I want us to go to the work
because you have said
us.
this for the record. Just 1 second, Honorable Chair.
Senator Methu.
For the 2 times that I have invited, because I'm also a chair of a committee, for the 2 times that I have invited the governor for Nairobi on matters to deal with Nairobi Water and Sanitation Company, he has appeared. So I confirm that what he has said is actually true.
I recall in the last parliament, the now governor for Makwiny, Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., said we should be very worried when governors come before committees happily. Let us proceed. Let us proceed.